Hey everybody, Mags here, and this is another episode of my Crochet With Me series. In this episode, I'm going to do a Crochet With Me tutorial on how to do a granny square triangle, which is, of course, a triangle made using the granny square stitching. All the stitches that I am using, I have tutorial videos on my channel already, and I will also be doing a revamp of my stitches now that I have a better phone with a better camera. I am using a size F hook, which is also 3.75 millimeters. And the stitches that I'll be using are the slip stitch. Well, I'm using the magic ring, the chain stitch, and the American double crochet, which is also the UK treble crochet. So if you use UK, just remember everywhere I say to do a double crochet stitch, that is your treble crochet stitch. Same stitch, different names. We are starting out with a magic ring. And from here, we're going to chain up 3. 1, 2, 3. And we'll start by working 3 double crochet into the loop. That's 1, 2, and 3, and then we're going to chain 2, 1, 2, and then do 3 more. 1, 2, 3, and that is going to be, this is your corner. This is the very tip part of your triangle. So from here, we're just going to close your magic loop. Okay. Now, starting the next row, and each time you do it, kind of like with my virus shawl, each time you add onto the end here, that grows the triangle out. So from here, we're going to chain up 3. And again, all the chain ups that I do throughout all of my tutorials, I do not count them as stitches. It's hard for me to get into the top chain, and I was not taught with patterns and whatnot. I was taught just, this is how I do it, so this is how I'm showing you how to do it. And they never used the chain stitch as a stitch either. Turn your work, and right in between this double crochet and this one from the last row, we go in between the two, and we're going to do a cluster of 3 double crochet. Two, and 1 more for 3. And then we're going to skip over these 2 and go straight into the corner, where we're going to do just like we did before. Just like you do on every granny square corner. 1, 2, 3, chain 2, and then 3 more back into it. 1, 2, 3. And then here we have the 1, 2, 3 double crochet and the chain up from where we started. In between that chain up, oh, I keep moving my camera. Right here, in between the chain up, from where you started with the loop, and this first double crochet stitch, is when you're going to do your next cluster of 3. One, two, and 3. Now every other side, that's what you're going to do when you get to the end. You'll have 3 double crochet and the chain stitch. In between the chain stitch where you chained up and the double crochet right next to it is where you put that on every other side. When you get back around to where you started the previous row. Now, again, I'm going to chain up 3. 1, 2, 3. Turn your work. In between this double crochet and the one next to it, we're doing a cluster of 3. 1, 2, and 3. And then, just like a typical granny square, in between each cluster and in the middle of each corner you have a space. Into this space we're going to do 3 double crochet, and then we're going to do the corner where we do 3 double crochet. 1, 2, 3, chain 2, 1, 2, and 3 more into that same space. And then you're going to skip over these 3 into this next space and do 3 double crochet. 1, 2, and 3. And again, this is where we started the previous row, so we're going to skip 1, 2, 3, go in between that third one and the chain up, and put our last 3 double crochet cluster. There we go. And this is our first 3 rows. Zoom in just a little bit. And you can already see the triangle forming. I will do 2 more rows in this color and then we will switch to this color. Okay. Starting a new row again. If I can quit hitting my tripod. Okay. Chain up 3. 1, 2, 3. Turn your work. In between the last 2 double crochet right there. Doing a cluster of 3. 1, 2. There we go. Had to let it focus. And 3. Go into the next space right there and do 3 more double crochet. That's 2 and 3. I love the autofocus on my new phone. There we go. And we're going to skip this cluster, go into the next space. 1, 2, 3. Now we're going up here to where this chain 2 space is and doing like a corner where it's 3, chain 2, and then 3 more. 2, 3, chain 2, 1, 2, and 3. Skip over to the next space and do 3 double crochet. 1, 2, 3. Skip over to the next space. 1, 2, 3. And then, again, this is where we started the previous row below. So where we started row 3. So we're going in between the chain up and the double crochet. 1, 2, 3. And there we go. The bigger it gets, obviously, the more you can see the triangle shape. Now this, just like with a granny square, the way I can keep track of my rows is I go to the corner. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll do one more row in the stripes color, and then we will be right back, and I will switch over to this color. So, chain up 3, 1, 2, 3, turn your work in between this first double crochet and the one right next to it. We're doing a cluster of 3. There we go. Into the space, we're doing 3 more. 1, 2, 3. Go into the next space. 1, 2, 3. Go into the next space. 1, 2, 3. Do your top like a granny square corner, which is 1, whoops, okay, it's 1, 2, 3, chain 2, 3 more into the same space. 1, 2, messed up on that one. I'm sorry about the mess ups. I am trying to crochet looking at my cell phone screen. That's 3, and I'm going to chain 2, and then 3 more into the same space. 1, 2, 3. skip over into this next space and do 3 more double crochet. Skip this cluster, go into the next space and do 3 more double crochet. 2, 3, into this last space and do 3 more double crochet. 2, 3, and then skip over the cluster, go in between the last double crochet in the chain space and do a cluster of 3. 1, 2, 3. Now that is 5 rows of the Canon Simply Soft stripe, and from here we're going to switch over to this color. So take some scissors, cut it off, I always leave a good sized tail, chain up 1, pull it through, and then pull it tight, and that's fastening off. And I will be right back, and we will go from this color to this color for 5 more rows. Alrighty, we are back, and we are going to go from the Canon Simply Soft Stripes to, I believe this is the Monette Red Heart Super Saver. Pull some of the yarn off. I'll probably have to do this a couple of times because it got to where I had to ball it up. But this is a crochet with me, so sometimes this is a part of crochet work, and I will show it. Okay, first thing we're going to do is we're going to make a slip knot with the new color, whatever color you choose. There we go. Take your work and you're going to go ahead and you're going to turn it, and right here where you fastened off is where you're going to start. And just like before, we're going to go in between this double crochet and the one next to it. This time we're going to slip stitch to connect the new color. There we go. Going to make sure both your tails are right next to each other and along the work. And they're going to chain up 3. 1, 2, 3. And straight into that same place, we're going to do 3 double crochet. Right over top of the tails. Because you fastened off one, and there's a knot at the end of another. Once you're done with that, you can let them drop behind you and just snip them off when you're done. And just like before, we're going into the next space and doing 3 double crochet. 2, 3, 3 double crochet into the next space. 1, 2, 3, 3 double crochet into the next space. 1, 2, 3, into the next space. We're doing 3 more. 2, 3, corner, we're doing 3 double crochet, chain 2, 3 more, all in the same space. 3, chain 2, and we're going to do 3 more. 1, 2, 3. 3 into the next space. 1, 2, and 3. 3 into the next space. 2, 3. Next space, 3 more. Next space, 3 more. And then skip the cluster, go in between the last double crochet and the chain up from the previous row. And we're doing 3 more there. And that is all you do, repeating through. That's how you change colors and how you repeat through. Now, I did say that I was going to do up through 10 rows to show you what 10 rows look like. I am actually going to, because I have done 6 rows so far on how to grow. It's the same way all the way through. The only, and changing colors, it's the same way every time you change colors all the way through. So I'm going to go into a time lapse and finish out rows 7, 8, 9, and 10, and I will be right back. Alrighty, and we are back, finishing up the last 4 clusters of double crochet on row 10. Wrong place. 1, 2, and 3. 2 more clusters. 1, 2, 3. Last one. 1, 2, and 3. And since this is it for ours, we're going to cut the yarn. Pull up a loop, pull it out, and pull it tight. And there we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 rows of a granny square triangle. Pull the edges out, stretch it up, and there is your triangle. 2 of them. And that is all you have to do to make this. And this is all I did. Changing colors the same way, just different numbers of rows for the different colors for the shawl that I made in the thumbnail, which was made using camo, Icelandic, and flame orange, all in the Red Heart Super Saver yarn. The next batch of videos until next week will be a revamp of my Crochet 101 tutorial videos where I show you how to do all the different stitches. Until the next Crochet with me, I hope you have a happy time hooking, and if this helped you make something, I would love to see it. I have my YouTube account connected with my Twitter account as well. And I will see you next week with another episode of Crochet with Me.